I'm Assemblyman Paul Aisley,
A little bit closer.
District 41. It's a rather thin district north and south of the university and the airport between Las Vegas Boulevard and Maryland Paradise. That's where most of it sits. I've been in Las Vegas for 42 years, came as a professor at UNLV, have explored a few other avenues, but mostly at UNLV is where I've had odd jobs, like Dean of the College of Extended Studies, which you probably know better as the summer term and continuing education. So I've worked with most of the areas in the university and in the city with running conferences at the hotels and bringing people into town. Even turns out I directed a program without knowing it. I was a producer or a publisher or something. I hired all the entertainers for the show. And then I ran the summer program, made the summer program very successful. It was a lot of students, a lot of good salary, a lot of inexpensive cost to the program. Whenever there's an issue that comes up that I'm interested in, for example, gaming, gambling, I went to dealer school, learned to become a dealer, so I dealt blackjack for a summer. I was interested in travel agencies, so I took some travel agency courses and did that. And I've had various other things off campus, other jobs. I've been the president's assistant on campus for 5 years for 2 different presidents. And I did outside sales for a travel agency. And I've been involved in a lot of community stuff as well. I'm trying to think of the things that you'd be interested in. And I belong to Nevada Fair Housing. In fact, I was the founding president of that organization, watching that places are not redlined and people not excluded from housing. And I was with the ACLU for several years and started a nonprofit organization for the high school students called Class Newspaper, which goes to all the high schools in Clark County. And also at UNLV, I did something for senior citizens. I brought in the Learning and Retirement program and gave it a home, and it's really doing well now. It's grown and very successful. A lot of people thank me for doing that. And my wife is with me here, Sari. She helps with my program. I have a student from the UNLV is working with me and some other help. And I pretty much enjoy the process, and I'm ready to get on with the next session.
Thank you. My name is Jan Porter. I am a candidate for Assembly District 41 because it is all about the economy. There are so many people in our district that are out of work, have their kids living at home with them, taking care of their parents, and it does come down to the fact that we've got to address the issues of the economy and really work together to help Nevada live within the means that is provided to it. We need to cut spending, and that is why I am running, because it is about people working together and listening to each other and taking the time to find the right solution. And unfortunately, there are times when we look at what has gone on in the legislature and we say, boy, that was a boner. What can we do different? And I think it comes down really to listening to people who have some great ideas and carrying those forward.
Hi there, my name is Mike Murray. I'm a firearms trainer here in town. One of the things that aggravates me when I look at the legislative history is that in 2003, the legislature passed this broad-based business tax and a bunch of other things that we're going to raise all this revenue, and it's a one-time only thing and we'll never need to do it again. So by 2005, we had another $1 billion in revenue, which the legislature promptly spent. And by 2007, we were $260-some million in the red again, in spite of the $1 billion increase. Now it's 2007, we're still spending more money. 2009, we're still spending more money. The legislature seems to think that a cut is a cut in growth. It's not really a cut. And I'd just like to hear you talk about this. We had multiple billions of dollars less revenue a very short time ago. There's statistics that say that the per capita income spending has gone up 30% in the last 6 years, and that includes the cuts of this legislative special session. So what are we gonna do? Where are we gonna cut some money, or is it just gonna be another tax and spend kind of year?
What we have to look at is the way, that the departments are spending the money. I sat on the Commission for Common Interest Communities, and I was horrified when Administrator Gail Anderson came to us and said, well, we have to spend this money. If you don't use it, you lose it. And it's absolutely unacceptable to have department administrators spending money just for the sake of spending it. And wouldn't it be so much wiser to take those common business practices that we all have and say, okay, we will have a rollover budget. If you didn't use it, we could incentivize you to have a bonus. We can incentivize you to roll it over the next year. You didn't lose it. But when you come down with the situations where it's a continued let's spend, let's spend, let's spend, and then come down to the situation that was faced in the special session where every homeowner who pays $3 a door for the ombudsman fee, there was an abundance in that fund. In 2001, we discussed as a commission level, leveling off that $3 a door down to $1 because there was enough funding for the overflow. But instead, that money now has been rated and been put into the general budget. It's not addressing what needs to be done. And so we need to take a look at the common business practices that we who run businesses look at. If we don't use it, we roll it over to the next year. If you are in a company that's in a position of offering incentives, you offer an incentive. But use it or lose it and then increase it because you can is just unacceptable.